Well, hello friends. I have another super fun card to share with you today. Let me show you what we're making. We are making this adorable little party piggy hula dancing pig card. Now, that is a mouthful, but it is so cute and it really shakes. Isn't that adorable? So stinking cute. I just love how this works. I'm going to show you how to make this. It is so adorable. I could play with this all day. It is so adorable. So let me show you all the supplies that we're going to use to make this. So of course I'm using the brand new Party Piggy bundle. This is an online exclusive. Had to have this one. The puns, the greetings are fantastic. The pig is adorable and he is a lot bigger. So he's definitely a focal point of your card, or she. And I had to make this. I had to have this bundle. All right, now we're using a lot of other products here. So I have the Notes and Totes stamp set. The only part we're using here is this little speckle down here. So if you have anything else that adds a little bit of splatter, a stamp that adds splatter, you could absolutely use that. And then I have some dies. These are the Impressions Abloom dies. We are using these little tiny flowers, and we're using this little, it's supposed to be the center of a circle. We are using that for her little coconut bra. Isn't that adorable? So we're using this one. And then this die set as well. This is the Sunrise Sailing dies. We're using the waves and the clouds from this one. So I pulled in lots of fun products for this one. All brand new products, but really they work so well together. So let me move all these products out of the way so we have room to make our card. So we're going to start with the little pig. Now, to speed things up a little bit, I have already die cut some of the, well, I've die cut everything, but I've stamped a few things. So I'm trying to get out all my supplies here. So let me pull in my piggy and all my die cut pieces for the piggy. So we're going to do some, just some shading and some coloring on the piggy just to bring a little more life to her. And then we'll get to all our die cut pieces in a second. So your pig comes in two different pieces. You'll die cut them in two different pieces. We're going to add a little bit of shading. I'm going to start with some light pretty and pink and a color lifter. This is going to add lots of fun shading just around the outside of her. So let's start with the face. And I'm just going to add a little bit of pretty and pink, just kind of along the lines and just adding a little bit of shading. So just going along. This is just going to add some nice shading, just a little bit in the ear, just like that. Then I'm going to come in with my color lifter. And because this is, we're doing this pretty and pink cards, Stampin' Blend on pretty and pink cardstock, it's going to kind of blend in anyway a little bit, but the color lifter is just going to get rid of any of those super harsh lines that are there. And then once this starts to dry and settle in, you're just going to be left with a little bit of fun shading. And we're going to do the same thing to the little bottom. Now, a lot of this is going to get covered up by the skirt, so I'm not worried about being super precise with this. I do want to add shading, but I'm not going to really be like super intense with this shading because again, it's going to get kind of covered up with this. My color lifter is almost dry. That's why I'm kind of pressing this a lot harder than I normally would. So if you have like a brand new color lifter, you're going to want to go a little bit more gingerly with it for sure. Okay. So that's our color lifter. I'm going to put away my pretty and pink. We're done with that. Now we're going to add some color to all the spots. And for that, I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo. And this one we are going to do just a little bit of shading just to really add a lot more life to the little pig. So I'm going to start with my dark. And again, we'll start with the head. And I'm just going to add some Flirty Flamingo to just the bottom of the spots there, and then we'll just come in with the light and just blend it out. Now, if you've never colored with Stampin' Blends on colored cardstock, it is a little bit different than coloring with it on white. It spreads a lot more easier, so you need to add less. Less is more when you're coloring with it on regular cardstock. I found it just reacts a little bit differently than it does on white. So you can test this, get some scraps to kind of test this out. But it does react just a little bit differently. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to go heavy-handed with your blends just because they do react a little bit differently. Now I'm also using Flirty Flamingo for the little nose here. Again, dark just on the bottom. And then we're just using light just to kind of blend it out. All right, adorable. So that is our Flirty Flamingo. Now the last thing that we're going to add, I just have dark smoky slate here. We're not going to do any blending on this, but this is just for her little hooves. And we're just going to color all 4 of those. Okay, now comes the super fun part. We're going to start assembling this little piggy. Okay, I'm going to grab my liquid glue for this, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the top where her head would go. We're going to attach her little head, of course. We're going to have a head on our little dancing pig. Otherwise, this turns into a whole different kind of card. All right, there's our little pig. I'm going to set this aside to dry, and we're going to bring in some of our other pieces here. So for the skirt, I wanted it to really fit her well. So all I did was I cut out of Shamrock, I cut a piece without stamping, just the bottom. This is the bottom of the pig, the die. So without stamping it, you just want to die cut it, just like that. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors. We're going to cut off the tail. I'm just going to kind of go in a curve, cut off the feet, just kind of working in a curve just like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to cut off the feet here, this foot here. So we have this little lovely piece with just the arms. And I'm just going to bring out my little trimmer. And we're going to cut kind of just below the arms. I'm just going to cut this nice and straight, kind of just below the arms, so you are left with just this piece. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And now we're going to cut this into a fringe. Now you can do that with your scissors, just cutting, cutting, cutting. I have some French scissors that I got on Amazon a while back, so I'm going to use these. Stampin' Up! Used to have French scissors, so if you still have French scissors, you can absolutely use those. Do not go all the way to the top, or you're just going to end up with, you know, shreds. But I am just going to go up about maybe a 1/4 inch from the top. Just like that. There we go. So we have our little fringe for our hula skirt. Just like that. And I'm going to use a bone folder, and I'm going to kind of curve it up. Just to add some little flow, I'm going to curve some of them back. Just so that some of them, so it gives it some movement to make it look like it's really moving. All right, now we'll take our liquid glue again. Our little piggy's head should be nice and secure by now. And I'm going to put some glue just along the very top of this hula skirt. And we'll just line that up, and it should fit perfectly against the die cut because, again, this was cut with the same exact die. You can kind of maneuver it to wherever you want. And once it's on here, once it's nice and dry, you can always arrange the fringe a little bit more. But isn't it so cute? We're almost there. We're really cruising along. All right. I have some of this Pack Your Bags twine. This is in our online exclusive. It came out a while ago. This is the Shamrock one. And we are going to just tie this around the very top of her hula skirt. Get a little bit more this way. We're going to tie a little bow. I'm going to do this upside down. I tie bows better upside down. I don't know if that's just me or if that's everybody. I don't know. Because this is baker's twine, I'm going to make a little anchor knot first. Baker's twine and linen thread, they're thin enough that you can really add that anchor knot without it bulking up your card. All right, and then we'll go in. We'll make a little bow. It's a lot easier once that anchor knot is done. Got our little bow there. We can adjust the little thing. So cute. Okay, let's trim this off. We can keep going back and adjusting that bow if we need to. Okay. I'm not going to finagle with it too much because I'll be here all day if I try to keep making sure that it's correct and perfect. And you can always use a glue dot to hold it down if it's not doing what you want it to do. There's our start of our little piggy. So cute, right? All right, now the flowers I have die cut out of Timid and Melon Mambo. And we're going to use a few of them. We're going to add kind of a few flowers up in on her ear. We're going to add some. We're going to add one on her little dress here, on her hula skirt. Just going to add one there. Glue dots would be great for this as well. On her ear, I'm going to add just a little dot of glue. We'll add a Timid one here. And then we'll add two a Melon Mambo one on either side. Okay. If you're making a bunch of these, then you can always, cut a bunch of different flowers out of a bunch of different colors and really kind of get super creative. So there is our little hula pig. Isn't she adorable? Now we're going to set her aside to completely dry. Oh, you know what? We forgot her little coconut bra. We can't forget that. Okay. So we have those little flower centers, and I'm going to bring out my Stampin' Pierce mat. Now, this is a detail you probably don't need to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm actually going to turn my die cuts upside down, and I'm going to put the lid on my piercer tool, and we're just going to kind of give it a little shape so that it looks like the coconuts. Like this is not the card I ever thought I'd be making, but here we are, guys. All right. Now, to adhere these down, I'm going to add mini glue dots to the centers of each of these. Again, you can just add the mini glue dots. I did that, but the coconuts just, they were flat. And we want to give some shape. You know, coconuts have shape, so we're going to give some shape. All right, we're just going to kind of put these on where they would go, just like that. All right, I'm going to take my Pecan Pie Stampin' Right marker, and we're just going to draw some lines just to make sure that her bra is not like floating on her. I never thought I'd be constructing a paper bra for a pig, guys. So the things we do for card making. All right, there we go. We have our little hula pig. She is fully dressed now. She is adorable. So let's go ahead and set her aside to dry. Let's work on the rest of our card. Okay, so our card base is pretty in pink. So let's get that done, folded. I have a piece of Summer Splash. This is 5 by 3 3/4. In Pool Party, I die cut 2 waves. These are 3 3/4 by 1, and then just die cut some waves into them. We'll use those in a minute. And then I have a piece of Crumb Cake that is 3 3/4 by probably like 1.5. This is just a scrap. But we're going to just tear the top. I'm tearing towards me. I'm using my thumb and my forefinger to tear towards me. And this is just going to make the sand. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And we are going to do some stamping on this just to add a little bit of texture to the sand. So from the Notes and Totes bundle, or the stamp set, I have the little dots. We're just going to go through and just add lots of fun little dots, little texture. And that's Crumb Cake ink. Okay. Put that aside. All right, let's start adhering this. So I'm just going to put a line of adhesive along the back of my sand. We'll adhere one of the waves. Put a line of adhesive on the back of that. And we'll adhere another wave. Now you can add lots of color to this. You can even make the waves in different colors to really make them stand out. But you know, I wanted the spotlight of this card to be that little piggy. So I'm kind of just making this a subtle background. And we'll just line that up with the bottom of our Summer Splash piece. And we'll stick this onto the card with dimensionals. So let's get this on the card. I'm just going to use some edge pieces because that will go much quicker. I love the edge pieces on dimensionals. They are probably my favorite pieces on dimensionals. All right, this will go onto our card base. All right, just like that. Now we're gonna pop up one cloud on a dimensional, so I'm just gonna put a dimensional on the back of one of those. And then the other one we're going to adhere down flat. So we'll put this one nice and flat here. And we'll put this one off to the side. Just make sure your clouds are not going over the edges. All right, let's get our little piggy on there. So the way that our little piggy is going to dance, I have a little action wobbler. You can get these at probably any craft store. I got mine on Amazon a while ago, so I've had mine for a while. So I'm gonna peel off, so it's basically a little spring. I'm gonna peel off the more solid part of this, And I'm going to stick this to my card base. I'm using my Take Your Pick tool because sometimes these are a little bit harder to peel off. So I'm going to peel that off, and I'm going to stick this to my card base, kind of where I want my Piggy. Just like that. And then we'll peel off this piece. And then we're going to stick our Piggy right on top of that piece. Nice and secure. And so our little Piggy will wobble on that little spring. Isn't that adorable? So cute. All right, you guys, we need a greeting. I'm going to grab a piece of white. I didn't grab that out. Let me grab just a scrap piece of white. And our greeting is, what's shakin' bacon? Because, of course, can you think of a more fitting greeting for this card? So what's shakin' bacon? Melon, Mambo. Now I couldn't figure out the perfect place for this to go, so we are just going to cut apart each word. And then we can just pop it onto the bottom. You can use a paper trimmer to cut these out, but you know, they're pretty small words. You can do this with your scissors pretty quickly. So we have what's shaken, and then bacon. So these are easy to cut out, just like this. Okay, we'll grab our liquid glue, and I'm going to start on the bottom. So we're going to put our greeting on in reverse. And this is just going to go right kind of on the bottom of the sand. And I'm kind of putting them on at little angles just to help with the movement of this card. And then we have our final touch. We're just going to add some rhinestones to all the flowers on the little Piggy. So let me grab out my rhinestones. Just have some rhinestones here. You can use any embellishment. I just wanted a little bit of sparkle. So just going to add, now that those flowers are nice and secure and dry, we can go in and just add these little rhinestone jewels to our little Piggy. All right, guys. This card makes me so happy. I can't even tell you how much I love this card. It is so adorable. I could play with this card all day long. You can also fluff up her skirt a little bit more now that that's all nice and secure. So however you want to make this card, whoever you want to send this to, I guarantee you, my adhesive wasn't fully stuck on that shaker. However you want to send this card, whoever you want to send it to, they will love it. I promise. If you love this card, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. You can leave me a comment too. I love reading your comments. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that you never miss a video. I have always have some fun videos coming up, and I have some class to goes as well. So don't miss out on catching a video. So make sure you subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.